Hello, everyone. This is Sam Danford here, JHWX, with your hyper local weather forecast for Jackson, Wyoming, and the surrounding region, the greater Teton, the greater Yellowstone ecosystem, and specifically, the mountain ranges around the Teton. So, this is an update here midweek. This is January 14th on Wednesday, and it's around 10:30 at night. And yeah, I want to jump right into this. This is kind of what we've been seeing, right? Abundant sunshine, um, just sunny winter days. It's been absolutely beautiful, but definitely I think snow lovers are getting anxious, especially, you look out of the valley and you can kind of see here, and it's just a lot browner because we had all that mild temps in this early season. We got the storms, we got the moisture, but we just had so much mild temperatures down low. So up high, we're really doing well, honestly. We're right on cue. We're right pretty much on average up high. Just down low, we are definitely lower snowpack with those more mild temperatures that we had. So I don't think it's anything to panic about at all. I think we have some chances coming ahead. Patterns can shift, but for now, I mean, if you don't want to watch this whole video, essentially, it's going to be sunny and sunny, sunny and sunny again. However, we're definitely going to have some of these inversion layers happening here and there. This was this morning at 10:30, and you can kind of see, up by the Tetons there, up in the park, you can see that inversion layer, and that is when we basically have cool air sinking as we have these high pressure systems, especially in the winter. Cooler sinks down, and then warm air rises. And because there's not really turbulence or things, it's able the air is able to stagnate. So that's how we get these valley inversions. And they're common in other valleys. I mean, you'll hear like in Salt Lake, they have inversions that actually hold down all the smog and industrial stuff, which is nasty. So we're pretty lucky here in the valley. We get pretty clean air. But, occasionally you'll see some haze, in the valley. However, this inversion hasn't been actually too strong, at least from how the temperatures I saw this morning from top to bottom. It was, maybe a 10-degree difference. I'll check again tomorrow because I want to make sure I'm correctly reporting that. But I didn't see. I've seen much more of a dramatic inversion than this, I guess is what I should say. So yeah, that's kind of the shot from this morning, and let's move right into this forecast. And actually, I just want to jump into real quick what the temperatures have been doing, which this will kind of be a little bit of a good news thing, is that we're holding on at night. We're cooling down enough that we're holding on to pretty cold temperatures through most of the day. We are warming up through some of these days in the valley around. This is showing 36. I mean, for January, that is pretty warm. I will say this particular model is showing that. However, again, we might get temperature inversion, and I don't think these models are really doing a good job picking up on inversions. So I think we're going to actually not be melting out quite as aggressively. We're definitely going to be seeing what I like to call solar heating or solar melting, where it doesn't matter as much what the ambient air temperature is. If you got that direct high altitude sun on a face of snow, or on a roadway or something, darker in color, it's going to warm up and melt the snow around it. So definitely that is something you'll see melting out happening that way. So this is just showing you the temperature. There's a more detailed look, and you can see we're cooling down tonight. And this is actually Friday. No, what is this? This is Thursday night into the early morning Friday. And we're seeing cold temperatures. I mean, up high, this is not really counting for inversions and things, but we're seeing up in the high terrain, 5 degrees. up in the parts of the Wind Rivers, up in the Tetons, kind of like a 7-degree mark, stuff like that. Down in the valley, wouldn't be surprised if we're getting down that much. It's showing a 14. I wouldn't be surprised if we see that flipped with an inversion. So yeah, and then going into, you can kind of see it's got part of Thursday there. We definitely are warming up, but man, not quite as much as parts of Utah. I feel pretty lucky. You should feel lucky if you're in the Tetons. I think we're holding on to our temperature like this as best we can, to hold the snowpack the best that we can through this massive high pressure ridge, which let me sip my tea and then show you that high pressure ridge. Look at this. It's been a monster ridge over the west. You can see it here. If you can see my pointer there, you can see that bowling ball-esque, that's the high pressure ridge right there, kind of over Northern California in that. And watch as I animate this ahead, as that thing is just spinning to win right there. And then it's actually, let me refresh, I was glitching out. It's actually I shouldn't say retrograding, moving up north, going through Friday into the weekend. It's doing a slightly more northern turn. And then we're looking at a breakdown of this ridge next, all the way until late next week, basically a week from Thursday. So if you're probably watching this Thursday morning, a week from today, if you're watching on Thursday. So yeah, we're going to keep this ridge. It's going to be here. We're confident in that. And then in the longer term, we're hoping for it. We need it. We need snow. We need a next system. That is potentially, we'll get into it, but that's potentially coming on Thursday and Friday of next week, not this coming Friday. This is looking out at next week. And then from there, it's uncertain. We're really in the fantasy land at that point. But that finally, gosh, this massive bowling ball ridge is looking like it'll break down by then. Now, there's a chance it could reinstate, but I'm seeing signals that we might actually get some more systems again. That would be more on course for what we usually see this time of year. So we're going to hope for that. And so let's go ahead to, here's another view. This is really important to look at this high pressure ridge. You can see that bowling ball. Let me refresh real quick. You can see that thing. These are height anomalies, and that is just high pressure. This is height anomalies at 500 millibars, about midway through the atmosphere. And you can see how northward it turns, and then it breaks down a bit next week, next weekend. Now let's go ahead and just look at what does this mean for precip. Nothing, nada. We got a whole lot of nothing until potentially we're seeing the signal here with the GFS, also the European model, that on the 22nd, the evening, like afternoon of the 22nd, I think that's next Thursday is when we're really actually going to see potentially our next snow. We'll look at another thing again, but let's just look at these temperature anomalies to tell you about why I think this is, we're lucky here in the mountains, because we're really holding on to our temperatures. These temperature anomalies, if we're looking at this particular model, are showing, let me center this a little bit. There we go. It's showing definitely in the higher terrain of the Sierras, it's above my head, and the higher terrain of, actually that's some of the lower terrain. So that is showing an inversion. We are actually holding on to some of the more below average temperatures, actually, which is kind of normal this time of year for January. We get cold temps, but we're holding on to those, and then definitely getting a warming throughout the day. But luckily, we aren't as crazy mild as a lot of the Southwest is, which is really quite mild, honestly. So yeah, that's kind of what this particular, the European model, artificial intelligence. Let's look at the GFS. Why not? Similar story, and this is actually showing the night times over this week. showing even colder signals. So that's good. I'd like to see that. That means we're holding our snowpack. We're not getting as much heating during the day. We're definitely going to get it. And I'm telling you, the south faces on everything. I'm going to tell you right now, south facing terrain anywhere is going to just get annihilated from all this solar day in, day out sun, the winter sun. It's just going to get melted, melt freeze much more than other terrain. That's normal. It's nothing out of the norm, but just any of you who are in the mountain terrain, you know what I'm talking about with just southern facing slopes are going to get that full sun all day, not a cloud in the sky, and that is going to melt some of the snow and cause melt freeze cycles. So that's just something to think about with some of the south facing terrain. And then let's look at what the longer term real quick is looking like. So you can see there's a high pressure, right? Watch this little blue high pressure as I animate this forward throughout the next few days. I mean, it's bouncing around a lot, but essentially you're seeing that high pressure ridge stays. There's nothing on the board all the way until next Wednesday. So I think we can confidently say we are going to remain in high pressure, remain in some, just absolutely sunny days ahead, all the way through into potentially, and this is potentially, Thursday night. We're seeing a signal for something to drop down from the north, Pacific Northwest. That system looks like it swings off. And oh, sorry, that was too far. But yeah, that is Thursday night into Friday, and that looks, at least according to the European model, this looks pretty dang good. Looks like not a bad shot of snow. So that's pretty far out. And then we got a system. So far, the European model and the GFS are latching on to another actual system, finally breaking the pattern on Sunday of the 25th to 26th, and that is showing a good signal for snow then. However, that is all the way, that is almost, that's 10 days from now. That's pretty far out. So we will check in on this, and I'll do another video and we'll be checking in. Again, let's just look at, for fun, same thing, European model, total snowfall. What was I talking about? A whole lot of no snow all the way until next Thursday, and you can just see zero throughout the entire West, the Cascades, everywhere. No systems, big high pressure ridge, definitely in effect. However, if you do look at in a little bit more of the fantasy land going out past a week, so this is hard to forecast this, but so far, we're going to keep checking on this. We're seeing the signal for a boost of snow. And I don't want to put too much stock in this, but you know, an 8-incher maybe over 2 days, and another system comes through. And if you're looking at this, you can see that's looking good for the Tetons. It's looking good for the Cascades. But again, this is like 10 days out, so we really got to just see how things. I mean, the ridge could just keep its power. You know, we don't know. But anyways, just the last illustration here at the end of this video, I just want to show you what that ridge has been looking like, and you could just see it just has carved out a huge amount of sunshine for all of the West. I know you can see kind of these high clouds. This is a high quality satellite, and yeah, you can see that, but it's definitely, you know, carving out a ridge in the west coast of the United States. And yeah, it's continued throughout the past few days and all the way into today. Which, wow, what a sunny, beautiful day. And I think we'll see the same tomorrow and the next. And wait, what's that? The next as well. So we're going to have a bunch of sunny days ahead. Enjoy the sunshine. Get out there. Yeah, get some winter sunshine and have a good one. We'll talk to you guys in the next forecast.